And I love the passage in 1 Corinthians 5:17. It says, if you belong to God, you are a new creation. Your old life is gone, and your new life has begun. And that hit close to home for me with my family. I have a sister who walked away from her faith when she was in college. And she wanted to be Indiana Jones. That was her dream. She wanted to go and be an archaeologist and do digs. And so she went to Israel, actually started studying underneath one of the top archaeologists in the whole world, and he was an atheist. And his whole goal was to prove that the Bible was nothing but fairy tales and fables. And she started to buy into it. She believed it. And so when she would come visit, she would just try to debate and talk to us about how, the Exodus didn't happen and Moses wasn't real. And we'd just go through the Bible and try to just pick it apart. And it just broke my parents' heart. And my dad, he passed away in 2004. But shortly before he passed away, he gave my sister his Bible. And it was his Bible that had all of his notes in it and that he highlighted a lot of passages in. And he said, I know this doesn't mean anything to you right now, but I hope that you'll keep it. And he said, my prayer is that someday this will mean something to you. So she just put it on her bookshelf, and it sat there for more than a decade. And then there was a season that she and her husband, who's Israeli, that they went through that was just a really hard season for them. And she started having these dreams that Jesus was showing up. And she called me one day. She said, Jesus is showing up in my dreams, and I don't like it. I said, well, maybe you should pay attention. And there was one night where the dream was so strong she couldn't go back to sleep. And she got up and walked into her living room, and she saw that Bible sitting on her bookshelf. And for the first time since my dad gave it to her, she walked over and opened it up. And then there was a passage that was highlighted by my dad, and it spoke directly to what she was feeling right then. And for the next 2 nights, she kept going back. And she would open up that Bible, and there'd be a scripture that spoke directly to what she was feeling. And I got a phone call from my sister. It was the middle of the night for her. And she said, Josh, I want to give my life to Jesus. And so I prayed with her. 3 months later, she flew to Arizona, where I live, and I got to baptize my sister. And not only that, but her husband, who is an Israeli Jew, he gave his life to Jesus. And last September, they actually moved back to Israel, and they've just been on fire. Like, I've seen such a huge transformation in their lives. They moved back to Israel, and they started this ministry to reach out to the Jewish community, to reach out to people who are in archaeology, in science, to show that you can believe in history, you can believe in science, and you can also believe in Jesus, and that all the things in the Bible are true, and that archaeology supports it. Man, so pretty exciting.
That's awesome.
But seeing that transformation reminded me, like, okay, God can change any heart.
Yeah.
God can turn any situation around. And so whatever your situation is, God can redeem it. He can restore it. You're not stuck in that place. Whatever the things are that weigh you down or hold you back from being living the life that you want, like you can get that over to God. And life with Jesus and a future with Jesus, the path that he has for us is the best life we could have.
Incredible.
So seeing that in my sister is awesome.
I mean, to see that for parents and others that are struggling with that same thing about kids that have wandered away as a reminder, we train them up in the way that they should go so that when they're older, they wouldn't depart from it. That's our hope and that's our prayer.
Hope. Yeah, and I love my dad's faith in that very thing, because my dad didn't get to see the fruit of taking that act in faith and giving that Bible to her. He really believed that God was going to use that to change her heart, but he never got to see the fruit of it. But in faith, he did it. And my mom, all along the way, she was the one who would encourage the rest of us to not give up. Keep praying. Keep praying. Like he's going to bring her back. And sure enough.
Well, kudos to Dad for not giving up. I know sadly some parents may feel like they want to throw in the towel and but we can't. As long as there's breath, there's hope.
Yeah.